Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining us for this Halloween. No. Anyway, Eitaikyo. So as Keith already mentioned, this is a tradition that we follow to acknowledge the idea, the spirit of trying to pass on the Dharma, the teaching of the Buddha, for the sake of future people who have the opportunity to receive the Dharma because of the work we've done till now and from now to set the foundation upon which this temple can survive. Okay? And so just to point out that this morning we placed the Eitaikyo registers, the Perpetual Memorial Register. And this is a special program that was set up long time ago before the idea of endowments started. And this is how the temple maintained itself by inviting members to contribute to the Eitaikyo Fund as kind of, in some temples use the term rainy day fund, but I don't care for that expression. But anyway, the idea to have a reserve fund for emergencies and for the practical things of maintaining the religious part of the temple, which is focused on the altar, I guess. So anyway, this is the fund that helps us to maintain that, and families apply and register in their memory of their family or loved ones, and then those names are written into these registers. And recently, you'll notice there's a scroll on the base there, below the front. I found that in one of the closets. And apparently at one period, it was 1964 that this was purchased, and names were written on that. So 50 years ago, I don't know what the thinking was, but they started a different form because the other registers go back prior to that. And then there's other parts of the register that are continuing after that. But just to let you know, I'll just be kind of for transparency, I haven't kept it up since I started here because I noticed there was a gap. At some period, it just stopped. And I don't know why, and I didn't want to go to the trouble, or I guess I shouldn't say trouble, but the effort to insert names that I was aware of, for fear that later on I'd find out, oh no, there's all these other names that should have been included. So I've been postponing it, hoping to update, get the information so that we will have the sequence in order. Okay, but anyway, that's what that's about. So today I'm very happy to introduce our guest speaker, my predecessor, 2 ministers prior, Reverend LaVerne Sasaki. And if you want to know about him, here's the book. Here's his book. And he's been so generous to make this book available, complimentary. I mean, he's funding it. He wrote it, he published it, and he's passing it out for anybody who would like to appreciate his appreciation of the Dharma. And so it gives very amazing details. I don't know how he remembers this stuff because he can't remember that I invited him today. But anyway, yeah, but he takes copious notes. You'll notice he carries a little notebook with him. So he gave me a secret. He's always writing memos to himself. Not electronically, but in a little notebook. And how many volumes or how many?
I don't know, so many.
Yeah. He's lost count of how many of these little notebooks he's accumulated over the years. But okay, so anybody, and I'm looking around, I see the majority of us are quite familiar with his interesting appreciation of life as reflected in the light of the Dharma. Okay, so again, there are these books available if you'd like, that he'd be happy to share with you. And so after, you're welcome to, okay, Matt Hood. Pick up a copy, okay? So with that, I'll ask Sasaki Sensei to offer his current views of the Dharma within 20 or 30 minutes, okay? Can you hear that? Yeah, he said, what's that? We use a clock here. We try to keep track of our time, okay? But anyway, yeah, yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
Before starting my Dharma talk, I would like to share with you a short quote. To me, it's a very interesting quote, not by a so-called Buddhist, but you agree as well, you don't have to be called a Buddhist to be Buddhist. And one of the short quote that I would like to share with you is a Lebanese American, very popularly quoted by Buddhist ministers. His name is Khalil. It's actually spelled G-I, but pronounced Gibran. Khalil Gibran, a Polynesian, not Lebanese American. There goes my senior moment. You keep changing. I like to read a short quote. To me, I like to have you think to yourself, this is another way of describing one of the basic Buddhist teaching. It's a short quote, but let me share that with you as my opening Buddhist quotation. Khalil Gibran, who passed away in 1931 when I was 1 year old, said, when you reach the heart of life, you shall find beauty in all things, even in the eyes that are blind to beauty. Let me read that again. When you reach the heart of life, you shall find beauty in all things, even in the eyes that are blind to beauty. To me, it's another different way to express one of the basic Buddhist teaching. And that is, to me, it's describing Buddha nature. It's a Buddha nature. He called it the heart of life. And to find the beauty in all things. In Buddhism, we say Buddha nature is with all sentient living beings, meaning not just us, but also bear. Was this a bear or a dog? I don't know. Oh, kangaroo. I'm sorry. Kangaroo, dog, or cat, or tsuru, in all things, even inorganic things. We say inorganic things. If you really look at it, it's a bundle of energy. So to me, that is a very interesting way of describing Buddha nature. And it says, even with the eyes that's blind to beauty, I'd like to share with you a very important Japanese Buddhist expression called Bon no Soku Bodai. For those of you, if you have read my book, my theme in my book is the idea, to me, to bring out the idea of Bon no Soku Bodai, to me, doctrinally, personally speaking, is the future of Buddhism, Jodo Shinshu in America. Without this understanding of Jodo Shinshu, Bon no Soku Bodai, to me, it would always be compared to the Christian teaching, the Protestant teaching. But the strength of Jodo Shinshu lies, to me, and not all ministers agree with this idea, but I think it's the future. Bon no Soku Bodai means even among who are those foolish beings, even keeping that foolish being within ourselves is Bonno Soku Bodai, Buddha nature. We don't emphasize that. We always seem to emphasize the future only. Pure Land, to me, is a wonderful teaching, very important. But Pure Land, even D.T. Suzuki, the famous Zen Buddhist scholar, who has a very devout Jodo Shinshu mother and who understands Jodo Shinshu well, stresses this particular point. That's in Japanese Buddhist term. Oh, gee, already I'm talking about, I was still trying to talk about other things. This is what begins when you become a retired minister and when you become, I'm almost 90 years old. And when I left this San Francisco church, it brings back old memories. It has the same smell. Except the pulpit is lowered like this. What happened? Why did you lower this?
We just took it out temporarily.
It was on a higher.
Right.
In America, we speak from
level.
already my 20 minutes is supposed to have 20 minutes. My pre-introduction is still taking about 5 minutes. That happens when you get a retired minister that's elderly now. But in Japan, the Sekyodai, the pulpit, is even lower. You get down. You get down, it's all down to here. In a lot of ways, to me, I think that's very Jodo Shinshu. The high pulpit is more like I don't know, call it a Christian church pulpit. But in Japan, it's a very low. Okay, that's enough. Already, I took over 5 minutes. I was supposed to give 20 minutes in English and 5 or 10 minutes in Japanese. Retired 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago. Right here at San Francisco Church. Our service chairperson. His father was a regular treasurer that I used to see church office all the time. Mitz was a church treasurer. And now his son, who's also retired, boy, time does not wait for us. It marches on. It doesn't wait for us. Or even, I was talking to, where's Reverend Donnan? Where is she? Where's Reverend Donnan? Oh, right there. I said, Reverend Donnan, where were you when I retired? Where were you living? She said, San Francisco. I said, so you were not a minister then. No. I was a minister in what, 2012? 2012. See, a lot of things are happening. Even our wonderful, good friend, that's why I say wonderful, Reverend Kobata. Reverend Kobata, he's going to be leaving us, I hear. Pretty soon, few months more. Reverend Kobata, and let me congratulate you. I noticed that you're honored as a very active community outreacher. Wonderful. And he certainly does indicate that. And I think he expresses one of our basic Mahayana Buddhist ideal of Bodhisattva. The Mahayana, our teaching is based on Pure Land Buddhism, is based on Mahayana Buddhism, and Mahayana Buddhist ideal that we hardly talk about is called the Bodhisattva ideal. We don't talk about it. I think we should. Good example, Reverend Kobata. He's not a Bodhisattva, he's a little Bodhisattva. Okay, now to the subject. Eitaikyo, as Reverend Reverend Kobata said, technically, we translate it as perpetual memorial service. It does not have the meaning of memorial. We translate Eitaikyo as perpetual memorial service. It does not have any meaning of memorial. It's only for as practical, administrative, functional purpose of raising fund, which is important. Without fund, we do not have otera, we have no church. So that was done. The original idea doesn't mean memorial service. Even the idea of memorial service that we have, our families, 49th day, 1 year, 3 year, 7th year, 13th, whatever memorial service we have, that's not even supposed to be called a memorial service. We always say, just to make it a little more easier to communicate, the word memorial service originally means hoji or hoyo, which means it's a gathering to seek and understand and appreciate the Dharma. It's not a memorial service. Therefore, we say those who we remember in a memorial service is a Zen Chishiki, or a spiritual teacher, a pointing finger for us to see Amida Buddha. But we do not easily seek and understand Amida Buddha. In fact, I still remember one of the cover of a Buddhist memorial Buddhist conference that we had was a very interesting, I don't know where that cartoon came from, but it's Amida Buddha is like a tug of war, is pulling a rope, and the other side is a so-called us. Amida Buddha trying to come, but we say we can't go. And Amida Buddha even has bodhisattvas helping him to pull the so-called human beings towards him. And even the cartoon also shows the human being, us people, going like this, and somebody's digging a shovel and trying to get that person to get out of that hole and go towards Buddha. I think it's a very good indication of why it's so difficult to be a minister. Trying to teach Jodo Shinshu teaching, I think, is a very difficult thing because, honestly speaking, without so-called Butsu and Buddhist karma, for some of you who are here, without your Buddhist karma, you would not be here. And even if you're here, we say, we don't, a lot of times people say, yes, omairi shimasu. I go to church. It's not omairi shimasu. It's omairi sasete itadakimasu is the Buddhist expression. Not omairi shimasu, omairi shite imasu, not that. Omairi sasete itadakimasu. Omairi sasete means because of the past good karma, I'm pushed to come to the church and itadakimasu. I come because of the many good karmic conditions of my past, be it your previous ministers, be it your parents, be it your grandparents. It's their particular power that has enabled me to be here. For those who didn't have a Japanese Buddhist background, maybe probably you don't have a Japanese Buddhist background, you're not Japanese. What was the karmic condition that made you here? There's a wonderful, strange hard to difficult to understand karmic condition that has made you here. It's not, you don't just come out of here, out of a blank space, blank emptiness. You just come for different kind of karmic reasons. So that is, so therefore, Eitaikyo literally means chanting, constant, perpetual chanting for many, not years, many generations. Almighty, chanting is, we BCA members, not maybe some of you too. I still remember we used to say, golly, I remember, I won't disclose the minister's name, but I understand this particular minister became unpopular at that church because he was trying to stress and teach the longer sutras, the Amida Kyo, the Triple Sutra, trying to teach. And because that particular church member didn't like long sutra, they did not like him because he was trying to teach the members the long sutra. Some of us, we say we chant the Sutra Junirai. Junirai means 12 praises of Amida Buddha. I still remember. They said, Reverend, even Junirai is too long. Let's call it Rokurai. 6 praises instead of 12 praises. Can you imagine? 1 week ago, Sunday, my wife and I attended the Vietnamese Buddhist temple in East Palo Alto. It started at 11 o'clock and ended at 12:15. No Dharma talk, no singing, only chanting of the sutra for hour 15 minutes. That's the basic of Buddhism, is sutra chanting. Not 6 praises. Even Junirai. I don't know, I never timed Junirai or Amida Kyo. How long does it take? Maybe the longest one, maybe 15 minutes. I never timed it. Have you ever timed Amida Kyo? How long? It depends on the reverend. Some of them read so fast, I don't even know what they're reading. Well, it depends on that in terms. But if you do it regularly, it's about maybe 15 minutes or so. Can you imagine you people chanting for 1 hour, 15 minutes? You're just not used to it and you quit. But I saw at this Vietnamese Buddhist temple, I saw a couple of kids playing with the old Jews here. But the rest of them are all chanting. It's a perpetual memorial chanting. I'm almost thinking, I didn't even look at my time here, but well, chanting, you never chant Gassho to Amida here.
We do.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. You know, the Gassho to Amida is it's really not a sutra. It's actually a poem written by the late Bishop Tsuji. He wrote that beautiful poem, to me, very understandable, simple English. And he did it so that it rhymes with the chanting of Junirai, that rhythm. It was originally called Gassho to Amida, but it was changed to Gassho with Amida. But after thinking about today's sermon, and by the way, it's at my retirement age that I started chanting daily with my wife. Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we get too busy, can't do anything. But we chant every day now. I did not do it when I was young. But you're supposed to chant every day. But before chanting, it's very important that you all have Obutsudan. I know all of the church people don't have Obutsudan. I know that. When I went to Mountain View Church, when I was Mountain View Church for 20 years, we tried to visit all the church members. Some don't like ministers to come, so we don't ask directly. We have a zone person contact their family. The Reverend would like to visit. It's easy to say no to another lay member instead of saying no to a Reverend. So we always ask somebody else to ask if we try to visit. And I did a lot of visitations at Mountain View. I know over half, maybe much more than half, don't have Obutsudan. But I think it's very important. You don't have to have a $25,000 Obutsudan. I know, I've seen that now it probably costs $50,000 or $100,000 Obutsudan. When I went to Eastern Ladies member many years ago in San Diego, the beautiful Obutsudan, real big one, and very expensive. You go to Japan, they're almost all that way. Many departments all small ones. Ours is about this much. Yeah. They're in Japan, it's like that. You don't have to have a fancy Obutsudan. I remember many years ago, Jimmy Yamaichi of San Jose, the late Jimmy, he started building a small the Dharma school Obutsudan, just pasting the Namo Amida Butsu or the picture of Amida Buddha and a wooden little constructed altar that Jimmy Yamaichi made, and he distributed that to all the BC Sunday schools. That's good enough. It's not how big, or even then, even if you don't even have to have that. The main thing is, a lot of times in Japan, they have a small one like this called omyogo. Just a small number of dollars. That's good enough. But you have to have something to do chanting. So anyhow, we chant. My wife and I try to chant every day. Gassho to Amida became Gassho with Amida. But thinking about today's sermon, I was saying we need to change it from, it was changed from Gassho to Amida to Gassho with Amida. I think the more appropriate Jodo Shinshu expression is Gassho from Amida. We don't do the Gassho. We are prompted by a good karmic condition that puts us, our hand in Gassho, to do Gassho. So don't even credit yourself. I'm not doing the Gassho. I am prompted to do the Gassho to express my thanksgiving to Amida Buddha. That's why constant chanting of the sutra becomes very, very important. So it's technically not a memorial service. It's for myself. It's for yourself. So that we can see, as Khalil Gibran said, to see the heart of the beautiful heart, what did he call that? Heart of life. To see the heart of life and to see that beauty in all things, including your husband or wife, including your mother-in-law, including your mother. It's beautiful. We do a lot of monku. I still remember we do a lot of monku. I still remember one Mountain View girl has a T-shirt. Says, I am a monkutare. That means I'm a constant complainer. Or to use everyday word, I'm bitching all the time. So, therefore, we need to have the Okyo chanting. We need to do chanting not for somebody else, for myself, so that we can learn the idea that it is prompted from other good karma, prompted by Amida Buddha for me to do whatever I'm doing as a Buddhist. Okay, that's about 20 minutes in English. So in Japanese sermon, I'd like to just read for maybe 5 minutes of the famous in Japanese, maybe some English. Recently we had the World Buddhist Conference, BWA Conference. The founder of BWA, all of you know, is Lady Kujo. Takeko Kujo is the founder of the Fujinkai, the Buddhist Women's Organization. By the way, not to publicize my book, in my book is a picture of Lady Kujo Takeko 1 year before she died with my grandfather. So Takeko Kujo died from an illness, from her trying to help the many, many people illness, and probably got it contracted to her. She caught the disease from the people after the Tokyo famous, infamous Tokyo earthquake. So I like to read and make just a simple comment. So it's supposed to be a 5 minute. This is Lady Kujo Takeko's expression found from her book called Muyuge, or Flowers Without Sorrow. In Japanese, 人生は短い人生であることが人生の悩みではなく、本当の悩みはこの短い人生を無駄にしてよく生きていないことである。There's more expression, but I'll cut it short. She says, life is really one of short duration. It is also a cause of human misery. But the most real cause of human misery is not the short duration of life, but how we waste this short time. この九条武子夫人の言う通り、私たちの人生は短い人生です。私の一番古い方に会った方は、私がスタックトン仏教会にいる頃、出張場でコーテース、トゥーラクの隣のコーテースに行った時に、私が個人的に会ったお年寄りの方は103歳です。であった。もちろんもう亡くなっています。この人に私初めて会った時に、103歳ということを聞いてるんだが、素晴らしいね。Then he said, yeah, 103歳です。毎日何してますかね。時々、ガーデンの仕事をしたり。そうね。私が103歳って言ったら長い人生ですが、いやーすごいねって言ったら、このおじさんがまだ言った言葉は、はい先生、103歳はショートタイムだが、ロングタイムだが、一世の一つ。103歳は長い年ですが、本当はショートタイムです。103歳の人が、私の103年はショートタイムですと。It's a short time, very short. 私のうちのワイフのおばさんが名古屋で、she's who's Alan? How she's what? 103, 104, 100 what? I forget. 106かね。106歳でまだしっかりしてるんですよ。また手紙も書く、若い者が話してる間、話の相手になれる。でも、106歳であるなら、ショータイム。そのショータイムを、私たちの悩みは、九条武子夫人が言われる通り、無駄遣いしているっていう。We waste so much time. Even me, if I spent more time studying Buddhism as I put into sports, I will be a PhD, 2 or 3 PhD easily. PhD, we respect that and I admire that. But I think it's all a matter of liking that subject. If you really like that subject, I think anybody could be a PhD. So I could have had about 2 or 3 PhD if I didn't waste time watching the Warriors, the Giants, and the Raiders, and Cal Bears, and Stanford Cardinals, Little League Baseball. I love everything from Little League Baseball. I spent so much money. I got so much money on T-shirts and magazines and caps. If I spend all that time towards Buddhism, see, I might be called Dalai Lama or something. But I'm just an ordinary minister. He's not ordinary. He's little Bodhisattva. But anyhow, that's what Lady Kujo Takeko Fuji said. It's not the short life that makes us suffer. It's really the fact that we waste so much time in that short duration of life. Hey, I think my time is more than enough, so I would like to end by saying that it's really wonderful to see familiar faces and new faces. Richard Moose is still around. Very good. Close the Gashio then. Namandav, 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 Namandav.